For Parliament, please do us a favor. Intenji, I want to thank you very much for coming up with this particular bill. It's something that's down on the ground, and therefore, let's actually put something there to be able to assist the village elders so they can be able to work together as a community. With those few remarks, I support this bill, and I look forward that everybody, those who are here and those who are not even here, that we mobilize so that when it comes to the budget proposal, we'll be able to make an amendment and put some little money there to be able to assist this group. Madam Speaker, I support the bill.
Thank you very much, Member for Kwanza. The Honorable Catherine Omanyo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. From the onset, I have always supported this motion because if you look at the village elders' situation, they don't fit in the government's spreadsheet, and yet the government depends on them through the chiefs and assistant chiefs to get the real situation in the villages. One village elder takes care of about 200 homes, understands who the owner of each home is, knows how many teenagers are there, how many children in that home are there, how many are not going to school, and makes sure that every home, every child goes to school, and yet because he has no salary, no wage to come back to at the end of the month, it is so bad that their own children stay home. These village elders have the inside scoop from the grassroots. This government talks about grassroots, the hustlers. These are the people they should hold first to make sure that they are at least living in dignity, like humans, because they risk and dare so much. If the village elder points out a real thief, a drug dealer, people who are raping women in the villages, and that drug dealer goes to jail and maybe gets his way out, you can imagine how these village elders show their mettle in continuing to survive but support the community, to dare even put their families in danger but still get the right information to the assistant chiefs or to the chiefs so that the villages can stay in harmony. Their inability to act also makes their hands actually helpless, because they hold important information, but they cannot do anything. Their work is just to pass it all the time to other arms of government. So we really want to continue supporting this bill so that the village elders can be legitimate. You know, when you have something coming every month, you are motivated. And what I understand how they are appointed, it's the length of time they have stayed in the villages. So it doesn't matter if they don't have papers or they have papers. So I hope that when that time comes, nobody will start introducing papers, because the very good ones, they are wise, but they didn't go maybe to school, or if they did, they have limited education levels. So I support fully, and I want to urge the government, since independence, this kind of people have never been looked into. It is time to affirm, to make sure that they get something at the end of the day, some protection as well, because the job that they do is not so attractive either. But it is the job that we need to make sure that our country from corner to corner lives in peace and harmony. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Phyllis Barto, member for Moiben.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I want to also take time to contribute to this motion, but before I do that, Madam Speaker, I would want to take this chance to wish all the members of Moiben constituency a happy Valentine. Madam Speaker, when you look at the roles and responsibilities of the village elders, which are not written anywhere, you find that they play a very important role in our society. Madam Speaker, they have been given duties, they have taken up duties which nobody recognizes them. Madam Speaker, they are a source of security in our spaces. They are the first people who we run to whenever there is a problem in our community, whether there is a thief, whether there is anything happening. They are the first people to be contacted. Madam Speaker, they provide enforcement in our spaces. Madam Speaker, right now, when the government is insisting that we must have 100% transition of students from primary to secondary school, who are the people who are carrying out these responsibilities apart from the village elders? Madam Speaker, these people are being used as notice boards, you see, for any information from government to reach to the grassroots. It is none other than the village elder who transmits this information from village to village, but nobody recognizes that role. Madam Speaker, when I was transversing my constituency the other day, my village elders told me that even their wives and husbands are not are shunning away from them of late because they don't have anything to bring home. They have been told that men and women wake up in the morning to go and work, and at the end of the day, they bring a paperback, they bring bread, they bring something home. But as a village elder, you just go the whole day with a very big title, the village elder, sitting in very high places and performing very important duties. But at the end of the month, at the end of the day, there is nothing to bring home. Their children are part of those ones who are sent away from schools because they cannot afford to pay school fees. They cannot afford even medical cover for their own families. They cannot afford most basic needs for themselves and their families, yet they play very important roles. It is unfortunate, and it is shameful for us as a nation to continue misusing the services of such persons in society, and yet we are Parliament, we do the budget, we appropriate money to different sections or to different institutions, to different items. We are the house which appropriates budget. And it is us, the legislators, the same people, who will still go back to our communities and still engage these village elders. And yet, all these years, since independence, there is nothing decisive which has been done for our village elders. Madam Speaker, how I wish this government, under the bottom-up economic model, will realize the importance of those village elders because they are at the bottom of the pyramid, and it is high time they are elevated to status and to have a status in society and recognized. And I want to thank the honorable member, Honorable Malulu Injendi, for bringing this particular bill so that the services of the village elders are enshrined in the national government. And in that case, they will be able to be remunerated so that at the end of the day, they are like other Kenyans. The remuneration for a village elder, Madam Speaker, is a human right. And so far, since independence, their rights are being violated. It's high time members of Parliament, honorable members of Parliament, rectify this anomaly so that at the end of the day, they take something home at the end of the month or they are given a stipend. And it is not asking so much. It is not a lot of money. I think it is just nothing it's a small percentage in the national government budget. So I think it is very important that we look at that and take this bill to its conclusion so that it is enshrined and they start earning something. Madam Speaker, in my constituency, the only thing which you can identify with them is the uniform. They have a uniform. And they don't even have soap to clean that uniform. And they are supposed to be attending functions. They are called in every time. Whenever there is a national function, they show up. How some of them even, because of wearing the same uniform for many years, you will find that the color has changed. Some have even patched uniforms. How shameful it is for very honorable ladies and gentlemen standing with a uniform which is tatters. Some even have different colors. The top has changed color because of wearing it for a long time. The trousers maybe are having different colors, Madam Speaker. Don't you think that is an embarrassment? Even if there will be bits and pieces of this bill which needs to be, maybe to be flesh to be added or to be rectified, I think we are ready to walk this journey and make sure that this bill is concluded so that the village elders are given dignity. For those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I support this bill in totality, and I thank my brother here, and I hope that one day those village elders will have something to take home to their families every time, like those Kenyans who are getting salary. Even with the case of we have affordable houses, how I wish they would have something so that even them, they can purchase houses for themselves. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very much, member for Moiben. The Honorable Naboera Nabi, member for Lugari.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. From the onset, may I declare that I support this bill. And I want to congratulate Honorable Malulu Njendi. And remind the House that it is through little things that we change society. Peter Porter, a renowned change manager for institutions, had this to say, that when society is evolving, you must accept the past mistakes you have made. And one of the past mistakes we have made in this country is to have people working for us and we don't pay them. And these people are called village elders. Madam Speaker, I want you to figure out this. That on a typical day, a village elder is involved in mobilizing people for development. A village elder is relied upon on security matters. A village elder is the person everyone else goes for any information he wants in society. Number 4, a village elder is that wise man, when there is a dispute on land, we will refer to for him to give us information. And yet, this is a person who works for free. He's not even recognized. One of the days, Madam Speaker, I went into a baraza by the DCC, convened to mobilize people against illicit brew. The only people he relied on were not even his chiefs, were not even the assistant chiefs. He was pointing out every village elder, what is happening in your area, what is happening in your village. And yet, the people who earn money, the assistant chiefs and chiefs, were seated there. What does that mean? That the person who has the information, that the person who is credible, that the person you can rely on is that village elder. Madam Speaker, if this country can recognize and regularize CHP, community health promoters, what will it cost us to recognize and appreciate and pay for the services of a village elder? If we were to go to my village, The only person who would know a new person who has come to that village is a village elder. I can tell you, even this war against terrorism, the moment we entrench the village elder into the structure, formal structure of national government, we will be able to deal with it. Because they know everybody in the village. Madam Speaker, the country is going through a very difficult, actually it's the whole world, a new generation, the bubble generation, where even education, we have to motivate our own children to go to school. If we want to realize the Millennium Goals on education, we must entrench, formalize in the structure of national government the village elder. Because he takes care of the smallest unit of an administrative unit. And because he knows everyone, the youth, the children in that community, he will help us to ensure that every child goes to school. Madam Speaker, I've had arguments that it would be very costly. I have an opportunity to serve in the Public Accounts Committee. I'm only saying, if we were to cut corruption by 1%, we have enough money to pay the village elders. So it beholds upon this House to put in place systems and structures that will ensure there's no corruption in the country, and we will have much more money to pay the village elders. Madam Speaker, in a generation where we want everyone else to be dignified, what is dignifying in somebody working for you for free? You, at the end of the month, you work to earn a salary, the way the DCC does, the way the ACC does, the way the chief does, the way the member of parliament does, and the man we rely on the ground is not earning anything. It is not dignifying at all. For that reasons, Madam Speaker, I want to support the motion. Thank you.
The Honorable Gitari, member for Kirinyaga Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this chance. On start, let me thank Honorable Ijedi for bringing this timely bill in this parliament, and I want to support this bill. Madam Speaker, the village elders play a key role in the community because even the chiefs, assistant chiefs, and even the provincial administration depends on them on issues on security, issues on things like illicit proof, the people who are preparing. Madam Speaker, it was alluded that about 100,000 Form 1 Kenyans have not gone to Form 1, but by use of the village elders, they have been able to bring all the names to the relevant offices. They play a big role in our community. Madam Speaker, I want to echo the efforts done by village elders in Kirinyaga Central. Madam Speaker, in about a week's time, a gun was stolen from a police post called Kaponge Police Post. And that gun was being used to terrorize people in Kirinyaga Central area of Kagumo. And through the efforts of the village elders, they gave information to the administration, and this gun was recovered from wherever it was. Madam Speaker, in the last 2 weeks, you have seen about 13 people lost their life in Kirinyaga County of illicit brew, and we are doing the burial on Saturday. And with the efforts of the village elders, We were able to identify other dens. So what I'm saying, Madam Speaker, in the 10th Parliament, we brought this bill, but they did not see the end of the day. But what I'm saying, because they are supposed to be given stipend, it is possible and it can work, just like the medical people who are going around with the, I can't remember the name they use. They get a little stipend. The government should set some part of the budget to recognize these people. Madam Speaker, these people are suffering in the villages and they are doing a kill-all. Today, nobody can steal a chicken from the area and live in the same area. And if they see somebody has disappeared for a long time, they will take him as a suspect. They pray a kill-all. I support Madam Speaker, and I hope this bill will go to the other bit. And I believe, because our government, the Kenya Kwanza government, is a government of hustlers, even the president will consider this. I support.
Ogitari, the Honorable James Nyikal, member for Seme.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, this is an extremely important debate. The village elders are the feet on which the government is working on the ground. Without them, there is no link with the communities. They are in all areas, Madam Speaker. In security, they are the first port of call. If anything goes wrong in a village, they're the first people who know. They are the first people that the village people will run to. Madam Speaker, if there are strangers and suspicious occurrences, the village elders will actually be the first to point out. Even when there has to be investigations, whether you bring the police investigators, whoever you bring, the first port of call is always the village elders. They are actually responsible for harmony in our villages. There's minor disputes, people who have stolen chicken, people who are fighting, even children who have fought, somebody's animals have grazed in somebody's farm, things that would actually be a big problem. The people who solve those are the village elders. So, Madam Speaker, they are the people that take care of our harmony. Even the health workers, Madam Speaker, we have agreed, we have put a law, we are going to pay the health workers. But even the appointment of the health workers, even the law we have put in place, we are going to rely on the village health workers. Even the health workers, when they community health workers, the village elders are the people they work with. Even in our economic development, we put in place very important programs, and without the village elders, we can't. Now, look at 3 main programs we have put in this country. We are talking of education, the funding of education in schools, particularly university. We are talking of health insurance, social health insurance. We are talking of social protection. And there's one thing we are all saying we are going to use to implement this. And Madam Speaker, that is means testing. Identifying who should be supported with school fees at what level when they're going to university. Who should be supported with the payment of social health insurance. Who are the indigents that the government should pay? Who takes us to these people? It is the village elder. Madam Speaker, when we have new programs, even agricultural programs, who do we go to? It's the village elders. So, Madam Speaker, there is no way we can do without the village elders, and we have relied on them for a long time. But, Madam Speaker, we have not looked at their conditions of work. These people are called out at night. Do they even have spotlights that they use? These people, they use their own money to buy their shoes. They are taken into areas when there are floods. These are the people use. Do they even have boots? Do they have even protective gear? my colleague was saying they have uniform. That may be in some place who somebody decided to give them a uniform. But there's no laid down structure even of giving them that. So we need to actually support these people. We need to compensate them. They need a stipend, and these people, when they are sick, they can't afford. To me, when we are going to have indigents that the government pays for, the first people we should look at are actually village elders, so that they get their health insurance done. When we have bursaries, at least in my constituencies, I try get the village elders. They can't be pointing out to you children who need support and theirs are not taken care of. So we need to support them when they need bursaries. I support this bill, Madam Speaker, because it is trying to put in place some structure that will organize these people. They are proposing councils, and they are also supporting village administrators. I quite agree there is need to support them. But there's an issue that we'll have to face in the implementation. Many times, Madam Speaker, we have very good programs, but at the time of implementation, we don't do the necessary coordination. Like when we are going to form, to get the village administrators and the village councils under this, how do we coordinate that with the county government structures where they have the ward administrator, they have the village administrator, they have a village council? Which council will be doing what? If you're not careful, that is not going to work. Even community health workers, when putting these structures in these councils, how are we going to manage that? So, Madam Speaker, as we support this, I think at the time of implementation, we need very clear regulations, we need very clear structures so that their work is not, there is no conflict on what they are doing. My view, actually, we should look at them in the first instance at a team that will be dealing with dispute resolution in our villages. So if we support them, let's put these structures in place. Let's look at coordination where they don't clash with the county government. My colleagues have talked about cost. Cost will always be there. But I believe I know, when I looked at this bill, it was said this is a money bill, which means it has passed through the budget committee. Therefore, somebody must have actually done some work and costed what it will cost us as a country. I think it is what we need to do that comes first, then cost follows, we look for money. With that, Madam Speaker, I support this bill. We may make some amendments, particularly in the areas of how they link with the county structures. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Melly.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support this bill. This bill by Honorable Malulu is very, very important. Madam Speaker, village elders have performed very, very important roles. They have performed judicial functions. They arbitrate cases in the villages. They actually maintain law and order. They are security personnel. They are the individuals who move up and down at night looking for criminals. They are actually the initiators, the fabric that holds the Kenyan society. They are the family, they even mediate in family disputes. A village elder implements government programs and policies. As you talk now, we are telling chiefs 100% transition. It is the village elder who knows every child, every home that has a child that has not gone to school. It is the village elder who, in itself, runs the base of the country. When you talk about issues of government, issues affecting agriculture, the other day we were registering farmers, and the chief relies on the village elder to register the farmers on the acreage of land, on the fertilizer distribution. It is the village elder who does the activities takes around the health, what do you call it, the CHF, the CHS individuals in the villages. So essentially, when we say that these people need to be paid, it is not about that the government is, that these people are not providing a service. These individuals have been providing this very essential service, Madam Speaker, yet they are not being recognized, they are not being paid, they even stick out their neck to identify through Mijikumi individuals who causes trouble in the society. So if we are actually arguing about the cost, Madam Speaker, then first of all, let us quantify how much these people have given us. Let's quantify. Yes. So
It's called Nyumba Kumi,
yes,
not Miji Kumi.
Yes, Nyumba Kumi. Thank you for that, Madam Speaker. So I am so emotional on this because these are the people who takes care of us. Even why we are here, these even members who are here, we have the village elders who are taking care of your various villages. They report back to the chief, to the assistant chief, who earns a salary. Yet the effectiveness of a chief hinges on the village elder. There is no chief who is effective or assistant chief who is effective without the village elder. I want to agree with Honorable Member for Dr. Nyikal on the issue of structure, on the issue of roles between the county government, ward administrator, the county government village administrator, and the national government village elder. But on that basis, Madam Speaker, this village elder is able to advise and link the county government and the national government seamlessly. We are not going to have an issue of structure, of enforcement, because he has been doing this throughout. When the county governments want certain functions to be done, they all go to the village elder. When the chief, the DC, and everyone wants to identify, like the other day, they assisted a lot in my constituency on controlling illegal brews. Illegal brews in all the villages. It is this guy who does it. Yet the chief reports, but the implementer is the village elder and the Mijikumi. So, Madam Speaker, I want to tell this House that the issue of payment, the issue of cost cannot arise. Yet, the services of these individuals have actually been going on for all this time. If we think the village elders are not important, then if we think they're expensive, let us also tell them not to be there. Then you can see the mayhem in the society. You can see the problems that we are going to have in the society. I support, and I want to ask members that let us support this bill, let us pay the village elders. It is not expensive, it is paramount. I support, thank you.
Honorable Abdul Haro, member for Mandera South.
Asanti Mheshimiwa Bi Speaker kwa kunipa fursa hii kuweza kuchangia mswada huu muhimu ambao ni kuhusu ratibu wa serikali kuu, marekebisho ya sheria kuhakikisha kwamba wazee wa mitaani wameweza kuzingatiwa katika sheria kuhusu ratibu wa serikali kuu. Na pia ningependa kuchukua fursa hii kumshukuru Mheshimiwa Malulu Injendi kwa kuweza kuleta mswada huu wakati huu ambapo nafikiri ni muhimu zaidi katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Wazee wa mitaani ni nguzo muhimu sana katika jamii yetu sisi kama Wakenya, na wamekuwa wakichangia katika sekta yote ya jamii zetu katika nchi hii. Hata wakati tuko na majanga kama vile janga lililotokea pale Embakasi, ama majanga ya mafuriko kama vile tulikuwa nayo wakati wa El Nino juzi, wazee wa mtaani wamekuwa ndio kama katika laini ya kwanza ya ulinzi ili kuhakikisha kwamba usaidizi ama msaada ambao umetolewa na serikali ama na vikundi ambavyo visikuwa vya serikali vimeweza kuwafikia wale ambao wanahitaji msaada ule, kwa sababu wale wazee ndio huwa wanatumika kuwatambua wale ambao wameathirika zaidi, na pia ndio wanatumiwa kuwatambua wale ambao wanafaa kusaidiwa wakati janga kama hilo linapotokea. Na hata katika hali ya usalama, hasa sisi ambao tunatoka sehemu ambazo ni za wachungaji ama sehemu za watu ambao wanahamahama na mifugo zao, tumekuwa na changamoto nyingi za usalama kuhusiana na malisho na kuhusiana na maji ambayo mifugo zetu wanakunywa. Na wakati mzozo kama huo unatokea, hawa wazee wa mtaani wamekuwa katika safu ya mbele kuhakikisha kwamba tumepata utangamano na tuko na amani na tuko na usalama katika sehemu zetu za malishoni, na jamii zetu zinaendelea kuishi kwa amani. Kwa hivyo kuwatambua wazee hawa, manake kila siku nenda siku rudi, hawa wazee watakuwa wanafanya kazi ya kusaidia serikali, watakuwa wanasaidia kufanya kazi ya kusaidia jamii, na wanafanya kazi ya kusaidia idara zisizokuwa za serikali, lakini kazi yao huwa ni kazi ya kujitolea. Hakuna wakati wowote ambapo pengine wanapewa mshahara ama hata kiinua mgongo. Na hata ukiangalia katika idara zetu za mahakama, nafikiri wazee hawa wamechangia zaidi katika kuhakikisha kwamba tuko na haki inatendeka kwa Wakenya wote, kwa sababu wamekuwa wakishirikiana kusuluhisha kesi nyingi ndogo ndogo ambazo zingekwenda mahakamani na pengine zingeweza kujaa huko kotini na kuchelewesha makesi zingine nyingi, na pengine watu wengi wangekaa miaka mingi bila kupata haki yao katika idara za mahakama kwa sababu ya kuchelewa kwa hizo kesi wakati zinakuwa nyingi. Kwa hivyo hawa wazee, mimi nafikiria wanachangia kuhakikisha kwamba pengine hata 50% ya kesi ambazo zingekwenda mahakamani ni kesi ambazo wazee hawa wameweza kuzisuluhisha katika sehemu zetu za mitaani, na mchango wao huo mkubwa ni lazima tuhakikishe kwamba unafidiwa. Na ndipo saa nashukuru Mheshimiwa Malulu Injendi kwa kuleta mswada huu ili kuhakikisha kwamba yale ambayo tutakubaliana kuwalipa hawa wazee inawekwa katika sheria, na kuhakikisha kwamba ile sheria inatumika kwa vizazi vya leo na vizazi vya kesho. Na kuhusu gharama ya wazee kama hawa, mimi nafikiri nchi hii tuko na pesa nyingi ambayo tunaweza kutumia kiasi tu kidogo kuweza kuwapatia wazee. Kwa mfano, tuko na sublocation 1945 katika nchi hii, na hiyo sublocation kila moja iko na mtu anaitwa assistant chief ama chief mdogo. Tukisema tu wale wazee wa mtaani pengine 3 peke yake waweze kusaidiana na chief mdogo 3 peke yake, na tuwalipe shilingi 1500 kila mzee kwa mwezi, hiyo ni shilingi 135 kwa mwezi, na pengine ukiangalia kwa mwaka ni bilioni 1.6 peke yake kwa mwaka. Na katika nchi ambayo tumewahi ambiwa hapo mbeleni kwamba tunapoteza shilingi bilioni 2 kwa corruption kila siku, pengine kuwalipa hawa wazee shilingi milioni 1.6 kwa mwaka ni jambo ambalo nadhani itakuwa ni jambo zuri sana kwa nchi hii, kwa wale wazee na kwa Wakenya wote. Asante Bi Speaker kwa kunipa fursa hii.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa. Honorable members, I would like to welcome seated in the speakers gallery students from Koa Boys High School, Koinon constituency, Bomet County. And on the public gallery, students from Tenwek High School, Bomet Central, Bomet County. You are welcome to the National Assembly. Honorable members, the next opportunity goes to the Honorable Paul Mwirigi, member for Igembe South. And I take note that we have 2 members whose cards are not working, the Honorable Mwangi Kiunjuri and the Honorable Anthony Mupe. Please be patient.
Asante
you may
sana.
Proceed, Honorable.
Asante sana Bi Speaker kwa kunipa nafasi hii pia nami kuchangia huu mswada, na pia nimpe kongole Mheshimiwa Ijendi kwa kuona inafaa au wazee waweze kushughulikiwa, na kwa hivyo nasimama kuunga huu mswada mkono Bi Speaker. Hao wazee Bi Speaker wanachangia pakubwa katika vijiji vyetu kuhakikisha ya kwamba kuna usalama wa kutosha, na pia wakati ambapo serikali inafanya kazi kule chini, hao wazee wa nyumba kumi ndio wahusika wakuu. Na kwa hivyo kwa ile kazi ambayo wanaifanya, kazi kubwa na kazi ngumu, ni vizuri sisi tukiwa viongozi na wabunge ambao wanatengeneza sheria, tuweze pia kusaidia hawa wazee ili baada ya mwaka wao ama baada ya mwezi wanaweza kupata hela ambazo zitaweza kuyakidhi mahitaji ya familia zao. Utakuja kugundua, Bi Speaker, baadhi ya hao wazee wa nyumba kumi, wengi watoto wao wanakuwa na shinda nyingi ama shinda kubwa kuweza kupata elimu bora, ila hali hao wazee ndio ambao tunatumia kule vijijini ili waweze kuhakikisha ya kwamba kila mtoto ameweza kujiunga na shule. Vile vile, Bi Speaker, hawa wazee kule vijijini tunawatumia kuhakikisha ya kwamba kuna amani, na pia wale wahalifu ambao wanatekeleza uhalifu kule, hawa wazee ndio tunatumia kuweza kuwatambua. Saa zingine wanahatarisha maisha yao, sababu wale wauza miandarati ama madawa za kulevya, wale ambao wanawajua sana ni hao wazee. Na wakati ambapo wanapeana ujumbe ya kwamba wahusika wakuu wa uraibu wa miandarati, Bi Speaker, wakati ambapo wanaibua ile ripoti ama ile habari, hao wazee wanakuwa katika shinda. Na kwa hivyo ni vyema sana hao wazee waweze kuangaziwa na serikali ili kila mwezi waweze kuwa wanapata angalau kitu ambacho kinaweza kusaidia familia zao. Pia na wao wakati ambapo wanafanya hii kazi wawe wanafurahi kuifanya, na pia ili vijiji vyetu viweze kuimarika hata zaidi, sababu wakati ambapo watakuwa wanapata zile hela watafanya kazi, watakuwa wamepata motisha ya kufanya kazi hata zaidi. Kwa hivyo kwa hayo machache, Bi Speaker, naomba kuunga na niwatakie wananchi wa Igembe South siku njema ama siku ya kusherekea ya wapendanao. Asante sana, Bi Speaker.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Murigi. Mheshimiwa Mwangi Kiunjuri, mbunge wa Laikipia East.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I start support this very important amendment, and I thank Mheshimiwa Ijendi for his effort. I'm happy that all members who are contributing have seen the value of our village elders. Madam Speaker, village elders existed. They have been existing time immemorial. From the colonial days, when the colonial government was set, they found elders established in their own villages. They recognized them and they worked with them. The successive governments that have been there, Jomo Kenyatta government, Moi government, Mwai Kibaki government, Uhuru Kenyatta government, and even the government that is serving us today, they have all recognized the role of village elders. They have been there in the system, and even the Bible, if you look at the book of Timothy, Acts 15, Acts 20, they recognize them as spiritual overseers of the flock. Meaning, even you go religiously, they are recognized. And I even hope that even in Quran, there are elders who have been there, who have worked for their people. These are people who are full of wisdom. They are respected in their societies. These are people who are problem solvers. They come in when there are conflicts. They resolve them in the villages. And, Madam Speaker, their role is already established. It is not that we are coming to look for a job for them to do. We are not establishing any parallel system that will conflict with any other existing system. Because as you speak today, county governments have their own system of administration. National government has their own system of administration. And when the national government want to know the truth, when intelligence want to correct any information, they do not rely on the chiefs. They rely on these village elders. They are the ones who give counsel. They are the ones who guide. They are the ones who are there to work closely with the sub-chiefs and the chiefs. And therefore, their role is already there, well cut. All what we are asking is that now that we are going to streamline them, because time has come, they have suffered enough. Why should you have somebody who is helping you, who is working for you, and you are not ready to give them anything in return? That can only be translated to be slavery. Why do you want to exploit them? That culture of exploitation must come to an end. Do we have systems that can be able to take care of them? Yes. We already have established systems like in intelligence and national security, where we have the National Police Reservists. They are paid, and the system is there. They are picked from the villages. We have social protection fund. People are being paid, a system that is working. All what we are asking, because most of these village elders, and when I mean village elders, that's not mean that you must attain the age of 60. You can still become a village elder even at the age of 40, even 35. Because what we are looking for is how respected they are in the society and the wisdom. So again, when we come to looking at the parameters that must be looked at while recruiting them, because what will happen is that immediately we streamline, again the issue of corruption will come in. It will be now an issue of who is looking for a job, not for those who have been serving. And that must be observed clearly, that when we start employing them or giving them stipends, because they must have allowances, in a way, to appreciate them, that now corruption should not set in. There should be the traditions that have been existing, how they have been picked. Those people who have been giving themselves out to serve the community should be preferred. And this is not the time now to come and start firing those who have been existing, because a certain person wants his brother or sister or their supporters to come and serve. And therefore, Madam Speaker, the issue of cost should not arise. The issue of the role they are going to play should not arise. It is an issue of now recognizing and realizing that they have been exploited for a very long time. If you go back to your village, again, any conflict that is being solved, even if you go to the church today, the setup is about elders. Systems already established recognizes that they do exist. And therefore, Madam Speaker, this is the high time that we agree that these people have been there. It's a high time that we accept them as teachers, as counselors, as conflict resolvers, and therefore their role be respected and they be given the respect they require. Dignity must be accorded to them. And therefore, this is the high time this parliament resolves, and we should speed up this amendment so that it is put in place. The issues to do with the budget, already you can imagine the money intelligence services use every day, collecting information. They have a budget. We have so many areas where we can stretch money and ensure that we pay the village elders. With those few remarks, I beg to support.
The Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe, member for Navakolo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on the onset, allow me to
What is sort of order? Honorable Jared Okello.
I thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and equally, I did not intend to disrupt my very good friend who is on the floor. But Madam Speaker, I have noted that my brothers across the aisle have been given 4 slots consecutively. And in the spirit of equality, I hope that we are going to get 4 slots this side, because some of us have been here for the longest. waiting to contribute effectively to this most wonderful debate, Madam Speaker. So in the spirit of balancing, let me wait for the 4, and I will be part of those 4.
Honorable Jared Okello, I can tell the time that you walked in, and as soon as you walked in, you put the intervention button. So I appreciate that you have noted that, I'm sure it's not 4, but the fact is that members on my right, some of them arrived very early, and we normally follow the screen. I've made a lot of effort also, Honorable Okello, to recognize both sides, but the fact is that even on the screen now, those on the left are more than those on the right are more than those on the left. So please be patient. Proceed, Honorable Wangwe. Please proceed, Honorable Wangwe.
Give me the mic. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Due to that interruption, it has made my mic to shift to another cell, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I, on the onset, want to congratulate the member for Malava, the Honorable Moses Malulu Injendi, for thinking on behalf of this very vulnerable group. Madam Speaker, as we celebrate these people and support the motion, we also wish to celebrate our ladies who are dressed in this house black for the sake of the many Kenyan girls who have been affected in the recent past. I also want to join my colleagues that we really condemn the kind of activities and the arson that has been put to the girls. Madam Speaker, allow me to really appreciate the role played by this vulnerable group, commonly known as the village elders, who have been graduated, Honorable Speaker, to the title village managers without money, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, a title without money is empty. You could be called a very powerful title, but what matters, Madam Speaker, is what goes into the pocket. I want to support this motion, Honorable Speaker, that let these people, Honorable Speaker, who really play the very, very cardinal role in terms of information and even guarding the sovereignty of this country, Honorable Speaker, because without information, even the arson, the artillery that you have will not be of any use. You must have information so that you know where to attack and also know who is maybe planning to attack you. Madam Speaker, I want to cite an example from Navaholo where the area assistant chiefs fully rely on village managers for information. And in fact, Honorable Speaker, whenever we sit with them, they can easily bring you the senior village elder who will tell you this kind of the character of each and every person in a homestead. Actually, when it comes to distribution of information, these are the people who know who are these true Kenyans. Therefore, it's important, Madam Speaker, that we actually benefit from them at the same time enrich their pocket. Therefore, it's important, and I want to congratulate Mheshimiwa Malulu that he has not tied up, he has not grown tired. Instead, he has fought on from the 11th Parliament when he brought the first motion, Honorable Speaker. He brought it again the 12th Parliament, and successfully, Madam Speaker, he is now debating it fully in the 13th Parliament. Honorable Speaker, that only puts us to the choice that the best time is God's time, not your own time, Honorable Speaker. At the same time, we wish to ask the Kenya Kwanza government that, Honorable Speaker, this is now their time, the time to implement this very noble cause, that, Honorable Speaker, they can now benefit from salvaging the otherwise very vulnerable section of the civil service who are really civil servants without title, without benefits, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, I wish to support this motion and only wish to clarify, Honorable Speaker, that let us not just put them on stipends. Let them be sure that this money will be coming, this money will be there for them. These are the people who are employed within the cadre of village managers, the way the county government is doing. Why should we, Honorable Speaker, be the national government, but our subject government, which is county government, is even doing it better? They've already employed village elders, village managers in the various sections, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, it's good that we support this cause. We allow our government to make good and move in and see, Honorable Speaker, what happens. And finally, Honorable Speaker, as we undertake that these village managers take up the resources from the exchequer, it is important, Honorable Speaker, we also know how are we going to identify these village elders. Not every village elder is suitable for the job. Let us also classify and see at least some small tests to see that the person who is going to get that position is a person also of good standing in the community. How are we going to select these village elders? So that, Honorable Speaker, we have a very vibrant section of leaders who are concerned with Kenyans. I beg to support, and I support once more. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Wangwe. The Honorable Anthony Mupe, member for Abai.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kuweza kunipatia fursa hii ya mimi niweze kuchangia mswada huu. Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka kusema kwamba nimesimama kuunga mkono mswada huu ambao umeweza kuletwa na Mheshimiwa Malulu. Mheshimiwa Spika, niseme kwamba mswada huu wa ubunishi wa halmashauri za vijiji chini ya wazee wa mtaa na wazee wa nyumba kumi ni mswada ambao kwa hakika ni mswada ambao hatua hii ni hatua ya kijasiri, ni hatua ambayo ni ya kuthamini na kutambua kazi ile nzuri ambao wazee wetu wa mtaa na wazee wa vijiji wamekuwa wakifanya katika utawala na uratibu wa kitaifa. Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka niseme kwamba wazee hawa wa mtaa wamekuwa wakifanya kazi nzuri kule vijijini. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni wakati mwafaka hawa wazee wa mtaa na wazee wa vijiji ama wazee wa nyumba kumi waanze kulipwa. Kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, hata DCC, ACC, chiefs na assistant chiefs wamekuwa wakitegemea sana hawa wazee wa mtaa na wazee wa vijiji kuwapatia ripoti ya mambo ya usalama. Mheshimiwa Spika, nichukue fursa hii na ya kipekee kuweza kupongeza wale wazee wa mtaa na wazee wa nyumba kumi kutoka eneo bunge pamoja na machifu na assistant chief. Wamekuwa wakifanya kazi nzuri, kazi ya ushirikiano, na ndio maana unakuta kwamba mambo ya usalama yamekuwa yanatiliwa maanani sana. Mheshimiwa Spika, niseme kwamba hawa wazee wa mtaa na wazee wa vijiji kutoka jadi wamekuwa wakifanya kazi, na tunajua kwamba wako na familia, wako na watoto ambao wanataka kwenda shule, wako na majukumu. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, kazi zile zote nzuri ambazo zimekuwa zikifanywa na hawa wazee wa mtaa kwa hakika wamekuwa hawalipwi. Imefika wakati wa kwamba serikali ama kupitia kamati ya bajeti ndani ya bunge hili itenge pesa ambazo zitahakikisha kwamba wazee wetu wa mtaa na wazee wa vijiji waanze kulipwa, maana ni Wakenya kama wale Wakenya wengine. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka niseme kwamba shughuli zile zote ambazo zinafanywa na wazee wa mtaa na wazee wa vijiji, mambo ya elimu, kama juzi wazee wote wa mtaa na wazee wa vijiji walikuwa wanaenda nyumba kwa nyumba kuhakikisha kwamba hakuna mtoto hata mmoja ameweza kuachwa nyuma, ili kuhakikisha kwamba watoto wote wameenda shule. Mimi nataka kusimama na kuunga mkono na kusema asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na ninaunga mkono wazee wetu wa vijiji na wazee wa mtaa walipwe mshahara kama wale wa Kenya wengine. Asante.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Mohamed Ado ambaye ni mbunge wa Wajir South.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. I would like to thank the Honorable Malulu for bringing this bill, which is very, very important. And remunerating village elders will recognize the valuable role they play within their communities. They are mediators in every conflict and are also advisors to the community, as well as being the custodians of cultural knowledge, which is vital in the maintenance of order
and cultural cohesion. Madam Speaker, there is always attempts, constant attempts, to push members of parliament beyond the three main roles of legislation, oversight, and representation. Almost everything that happens in our constituencies are usually pushed onto our plates. And one thing I have done, and many others here have done, is send elders to go and deal with some of these burning issues. And every time they have done it with utmost diligence. That is the importance they have to our societies, and they play a very crucial role. And remunerating them will acknowledge the time and effort they pay in serving their communities. Remunerating them also, Madam Speaker, can help attract and retain people who are qualified for these roles. Many times, because of the abject poverty in many parts of this country, people who are very good at mediation and who have got a high standing within the society avoid these roles because they have to put bread and butter on the table for their children. If they are remunerated, we will be able to attract people who can do a much better job, something that is going to improve governance at the local level and ensure that cultural and social cohesion is at its utmost in rural Kenya. Besides, Madam Speaker, remunerating elders is also an act of poverty eradication, because most of these people are depending on subsistence farming, hand-to-mouth farming, and sometimes do not have any jobs or any source of income. In the Somali community, we have a proverb that says, where there are elders, nothing goes wrong. I believe it's time, as the people of Kenya and as the government of Kenya, we paid our elders and give them the respect they so much deserve. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Mheshimiwa Fatuma Masito, mbunge wa Kwale County.
Basi nimshukuru Madam Speaker kwa kuweza kunipatia nafasi hii. Na mimi pia ni katika kumbukumbu za bunge hili wakati hoja hii iliyoletwa na Mheshimiwa Malulu juu ya vile wazee wa vijiji wanavyotumika vibaya na serikali yetu. Wazee wa vijiji, Speaker, ni watu muhimu sana. Mimi tangu nilipozaliwa nimeona wazee wa vijiji wakitufanyia kazi wasipochoka au bila kuchoka. Ni watu ambao wanafanya kazi, Speaker, ya